So let's move on to some sport.
Let's move on to sport.
Now we are two very big wrestling fans.
Fat nerd. I'm a fat mark for wrestling.
We'll start off with my side of the pond
Go on.
because we did watch AEW Revolution together,
Mm-hmm.
albeit you slept through the majority of it.
I slept through I slept through the less important parts. That's what happened.
Um, for me, I I think it was a very good pay per view. Um, Obviously, I am kind of biased because I am an AEW fan. Although the botch at the end of the
You call it a botch, I
it,
call it intentional.
I don't
You
think
call it
you've got this. You're very much the WWE. They did that on tension. I
no,
think
no, no. All right,
I believe
no,
in what's come out. I
no.
think I'll let you talk. Go on.
Okay, right, okay. So, as we all know, I'm a big wrestling fan. Uh, and I don't mind. I think AEW Revolution was a great. It's a good. It's an okay pay per view. Um, I don't know some of the people on that roster. So I'm not gonna be like, oh my god, I'm such a mega fan. But it was definitely a good pay per view. You had your Britt Baker, Marky Ito. I'm saying all these names that no one knows, but you had Marky, you had the Casino Battle Royale, Sting making his return in ring, which was a great tag match, by the way. I really liked it.
Yeah.
And then you had your main event, Exploding Barbed Wire ring match, and you know it was a good bout. 4 stars out of 5, but I think it was just I know it's just the ending that just really
Yeah.
got to me because I personally don't think it was a dud. I think they did that intention. They knew what was gonna happen and they went with it anyway.
Yeah.
Or either that or there was some miscommunication somewhere
Hmm.
and it came out that's how it came out on pay-per-view.
Yeah. So, for people that not watch this pay per view or don't watch wrestling, what the main event was it was a exploding barbed wire match, which is it, it's it's a wrestling ring, but instead of typical wrestling ropes, you have barbed wire and explosives that when you hit the ropes they explode, and then there's also explosive landmines around the ring. If you land on them, they explode. It was a good match. John Moxley versus Kenny Omega, arguably two of the best wrestlers in the world today. Um, put on a good match, and then they had to get an out for making John Moxley still look good but lose not winning the title, and then making but also not hurting Kenny Omega at the same time. So they came out with the Good Brothers come out and intervene, and then leaving John Moxley to explode as the countdown came down, and out comes Eddie Kingston to save his childhood best friend. And the countdown's going, it goes 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Sirens, World War II sirens start blaring.
And it's all
And then
just sparklers.
four
All
sparklers
just
go off.
sparklers.
And Eddie Kingston sells, like, the best acting I've ever seen in a wrestling
Dumbest.
ring.
It's a dumb. It's dumb. It's dumb.
I was like, why is he acting like he's been burnt and stuff, and he's
I think for me watching that, I'm gonna like just I'm gonna move away from AEW just for a quick second to say, right. The thing that not many people like wrestling.
hmm,
Um not many people are into sport also like wrestling. I like wrestling because it's just a bit of that. You've got a bit of acting and you've got a bit of that, sports like things. Like no other sport would you see a freaking, I don't know, freaking a, a zombie take on a freaking you never see a zombie take on some MMA fighter, but you do see that in wrestling, and it's just like, I don't know. I just love the storylines. I love the storylines and the progression that goes within alongside wrestling. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So for me, when I watched the end of the pay-per-view, I know honestly it was a good moment of Eddie Kingston coming out to the ring and being like, "Hey, I'm gonna cover you because the ring is about to explode,"
Yeah.
and he passed out. I just saw it as it was just him in just so much fear. Um, his
Well,
child, his childhood best friend is gonna like be getting blown up.
that is the
That he
story
just
they've
passed
gone with
out.
now, Nana.
Yeah, I remember I did watch that the little promo they had on Wednesday. So yeah, I think people really for me anyway. Again, I'm like moving away from AEW, but for me, watching wrestling is just the magic of obviously everyone knows wrestling is fake.
Mm.
Or however you want to say it, fake, predetermined, whatever. Everyone knows that, but for me, it's just the art of how what you're shown on TV. How can you make it? I don't know how can you make it look good? How can you make it look so convincing? Like I'm not even just talking about the wrestling, even like because some of these wrestlers aren't even like actors, but they go in and they're like cutting promos and they're doing all this cinematic stuff and pretending to be like these larger than life characters. It's just like
Yeah.
wow. Because again, I keep segueing from this, but as an actor, right? For me, right, when you're watching something as an actor, right?
Yeah.
You're what you let me a show like let's give Bridgerton an example. All these actors coming for Bridgerton, right? They just do their RP, their characters for all those season for like that season. I
Yeah.
think they're coming up with another one, but they're doing that and they're rehearsing in. And then once that's done, that's done. They're never gonna like go back to that. Once Bridgerton is over with, that's it's gone. But when you're looking at when I'm looking at wrestling and I'm seeing all these, for example, freaking The Undertaker, he was a dead man for how long? Like 10 years. Like I think first start career he was like dead man for like what 10 years, and then he changed his
Yeah.
persona or gimmick and became a biker guy.
Yeah.
And it's just you're doing you everything you do in wrestling, you're just doing it to make sure the crowd are behind you.
Yeah.
If that makes sense, that's why I like it. It sounds so
Mm.
cringy and it sounds so, this dude likes wrestling, ew. But like, from my perspective, that's how
Yeah.
I see it. That's how I view it.
Well, I kind of similar. Like I see wrestling through the eyes of a performer as an actor himself, and
Yeah,
people always go, "Oh, it's fake," and it's like, well, it's it's fake in that it pretends to be a sport, but it's more of a physical theatre piece.
yeah, yeah,
You still need to be physically fit to do the things that they do in that ring.
yeah,
You can't just walk into a wrestling ring and start doing wrestling because you either one you're gonna get injured or you're gonna really injure someone else. I it is still dangerous what they're doing. It's just that it's been put in this weird, oh, it's a sport for years, and it doesn't really help itself when that's why people kind of go, oh, it's fake, it's just fake fighting, and it's like it's a lot more than just watching someone. Like if I just want to watch someone fight, I'll watch UFC, I'll watch boxing because that's just fighting. I watch wrestling because there's storylines, there's good guys, there's bad guys. It's your traditional storytelling of a story. You have the good guy having to overcome the odds to defeat the bad guy. It's it's basic storytelling.
Mm, yeah. Yeah. I think obviously I've never I think I've always been I used to be a big well, I wouldn't say big, but I used to be a fan of football. Yeah, I was a Chelsea supporter. Um,
Ooh.
I think it was when what was his name? Was it Drogba? I think it
Drogba.
was. His name.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I think I really liked it because of that, and then I think he left for some other team, and I just gave up on football. But um, when I started doing because I still like sport. Don't get me wrong. When I started doing like GCSE drama and whatnot, and because I took a break from like watching wrestling because yeah, I think it just got a bit too much for me. But then when I got into drama and I um still started watching it again and being like, wow, because I think I watched a match and it like I know obviously it's all predetermined and whatnot, but it got me so I don't know why it got me so angry. What was happening in the ring and what the story got me so angry. I was like, damn, like, and then because I've got that performers mentality to look at it as wow, this is exactly this is how they intended it. They want me to be angry. They want me to feel angry,
Yeah.
and that's just what got me back in and being like, I really want to do stuff like that where I can really, really perform to the point where even though I am, even though I'm just playing a role, I can still make people feel really happy or really, you know, infuriated and all these emotions.
Yeah.
So yeah, sounds a bit dumb, but like that's just how I see wrestling, how I've just gotten into it so much.